Hi everyone, my name is Taylor. I will talk to anyone and everyone about books who will listen, and in the month of May we have 3 anticipated releases coming out. Now these are all very different genres. We have contemporary hockey romance, we have a dark romance, it's a dark hockey romance, and we also have a contemporary rugby romance. So all of these are sports romances. However, very, very different in its own ways. Now, Rewind It Back is part of the Windy City series. This is the last book in the Windy City series. This is one of my favorite sports romances of all time. This is just a really good series for if you're looking for a sports romance that has a lot of depth to it, but it's not too deep. This series does have different sports. So throughout it, there's baseball, there's basketball, there's hockey. This one in particular is hockey. And honestly, this one, spoiler alert, this one is my absolute favorite in the entire series. I have already read this. This series, I cannot recommend this series enough. I just now got the other 4 in the series because these covers are actually going out of print. So the second that I saw that, that is one way that you're gonna get me to immediately buy books, is like I've wanted these books for so long, but I've just never gotten them. The second I heard they were going out of print, the speed at which I ordered them, a little embarrassing, I'm not even gonna lie. And then we have Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. First of all, this cover, I just think it's gorgeous. All the sides, and then there's also art on the inside. I'm so excited to read this. This is a dark hockey romance. Rena Kent is very good at writing dark men. Now, I'm usually very hit or miss with Rena Kent, but I am excited for this. Regardless of whether or not she is a hit or miss author, I'm gonna read every single thing that she writes. So excited for this one. And then finally we have Releasing 10. This is the 6th book in my favorite series of all time, Boys of Tommen. Now this is insanely dark. This, and I don't mean dark in like a dark romance type of way, I mean heavy. There's a lot of trigger warnings. I wouldn't even consider this to be a sports romance, especially not this one. The series kind of started out as a sports romance, but it was more so the sports aspect of it was like a little side piece, and then as the series has gone on, this series has gotten heavier and heavier and heavier, more traumatic. This series is not for the weak, I will say. So I in no way, shape, or form would like to categorize this as a sports romance. It is contemporary, but it's heavy. Take that on the most extreme level ever. It is heavy. So here's a non-spoiler reading vlog of my May anticipated releases. Stay tuned to see which one was my favorite. I'm running literally so late for work, but I had to stop and tell you that Rewind It Back came out today, and I'm so excited. I don't have any time to read because, like I said, I had to go to work. However, we'll be reading this. I might read it a little bit throughout the day, but I'm so excited. I was reading the synopsis this morning when I went to download it to my Kindle, and I didn't realize that it's like second chance romance, which I typically hate second chance romance, but honestly, I'm excited for it in this. They were neighbors when they were younger, and then I guess they fell in love, and then they ended up breaking each other's hearts. The hearts were broken somewhere, and now they're apparently neighbors again years later. I don't know, excited. So we're starting out this video by reading Rewind It Back. This came out, what day did this come out? It came out Tuesday. Today is Friday. I have already started this. I'm like probably 40-ish% of the way in. I haven't been updating because I honestly have been reading it very, very slowly, and so I don't have that many thoughts, but I have just had a very busy week, so I haven't been able to binge it like I would typically want to do. So far I'm loving it. Something that I love though is Rio reminds me, if anyone has read Boys of Tommen, Rio reminds me a lot of Gypsy, and it's funny that I mentioned that because a new Boys of Tommen book is also coming out this month, so you're gonna see that in this video. Rio just reminds me so much of Gypsy in a sense that he's one of those like funny side characters. You don't realize how much depth that they have until you're in their mind, and so I love a character like that. I love it when there's a funny side character that is often overlooked, but then once you get to them, it's like it's the most painful thing ever, but it's such a good trope, and I love it so much. And I also usually hate second chance romance. Second chance romance is probably one of my least favorite tropes, just because I don't know, I think a lot of times it really has to be done correctly, because a lot of times second chance romance, it's like all of the tension and the yearning is gone once they've already been together at some point. And so usually I'm like, okay, if you broke up, like you probably broke up for a reason. But in this situation, I don't really know what happened to them, but I'm assuming that it was like one big misunderstanding. I have no idea. This is gonna be one of those books that has a trope that I typically don't like, but I end up loving and devouring the book. Honestly, I feel like a lot of my favorite books have tropes in them that I typically don't like, which is so funny. For one, I'm loving Hallie, I'm loving Rio, I'm loving both of them, but I'm also loving honestly, the chapters where they are younger and where they're teenagers and you kind of get to see them growing up together and getting to know each other and then falling in love, I'm honestly loving that more than I am like present day chapters. But overall, loving it. I'm hoping that I can finish it tonight maybe. I do have a lot of homework to do, so we'll see. But now that it's a weekend, I'm like, it's free reign for me to finish this, and I'm so excited. When I was 11, my family moved next door to him. When I was 13, he was my first crush. When I was 16, we fell for each other, and when I was 19, we broke each other's hearts. And I'm so scared to find out what they did. Like, how did they break each other's hearts? I don't know. I'm scared, but I'm loving it. This man is literally wrapped around her finger. Like, he is so obsessed with her, not only in, you know, their teenage years, but their adult lives too. Like, he's so obsessed with her in both of these timelines, and it literally makes me sick. I love him so much. So I was sitting outside reading earlier, and let me just tell you, this man is literally filthy. Like, he's so filthy, but also so, he's not innocent, but he's just so sweet, and he's so in love with her. He has never been with anyone except for her. Even in all the years that they have been broken up and he's been going out on dates trying to find what he had with her again, like trying to find that love, he has still never gotten with anyone else. And they just love each other so much, and it just, oh my god, my heart can't take it, truly. But we did just find out why they broke up, and I don't like know the full extent of it because I think I'm still kind of going back and forth between like present day and then flashback chapters. But honestly, like, it's sad, but it's also, I kind of expected a little bit more at the same time. Actually, no, not really. I think I got what I expected, but like, I'm loving it. I have no complaints about it, and I think I'm about to finish it. I think I'm like 75-80% done. So I'm gonna try and finish it right now, and then stay tuned for updates. But I literally love this man. I love her, and I'm honestly just dreading the book ending because it's the very last book in the Windy City series, like in like the main core part of the series. So I just love how he's part of the friend group with the girls, and it's not the type of thing where it's like you don't want your boyfriend to be friends with other girls. It's not like that, because all of the girls obviously are married to his best friends. It's the most healthy friendship, and he's one of them in the best, most cute way, and I just love it. And I'm gonna fall for the trope where it's like I said earlier, where he's kind of reminding me of Gypsy from Boys of Tommen without like the severe trauma, of course. They are these side characters who are funny and happy and go lucky, and you know, they provide the comedic relief for the group, but then once you actually get to know them, they have so much depth, and the main girl feels like she needs to protect him because no one else has protected him before, because he's always seen as that happy-go-lucky character that doesn't need protecting. And so the main girl feels that level of protectiveness, and that's exactly how Claire is to Gypsy and Boys of Tommen. That's exactly how Hallie is to Rio, and I love it. I love it so much. I did just finish Rewind It Back. I woke up and immediately binged the rest of it, so ignore what's going on with my appearance. But I truly feel like every single book in this series is so solid, and as you keep reading, they just get better and better and better. And the last 3 books in the series, I keep saying are my favorite. Like, I read Caught Up's my favorite. I read Play Along's my favorite. I read Rewind It Back is my favorite. Like, I truly think that in order for me to fully grasp which one is my favorite, I'm gonna have to reread them. But at the moment, I feel like it might be this one. Now, this could be because I'm just riding off the high of first finishing it, but I don't know, something about them. And as I've said, like, I'm typically not someone who is a big fan of second chance romance, but this one, just, you could feel their love for each other through the pages. They went 6 years not being together, and in those 6 years, he was constantly looking for her in other women. Like, every single person that he went on a date with, he was always looking for her. Nothing was ever sufficient enough for him because they were not giving him the same feeling that Hallie gave him all those years ago. Like, he loved her so much. Although he was this super famous hockey player and, like, you know, so many people are intimidated by him, he was so nervous around her, and he loved her so much, and their love felt so pure in a way. And I'm not saying that the other couples in the series, their love didn't feel pure, but something about this couple, Hallie and Rio, felt like you could feel it through the pages, and I loved them so much. And honestly, I love seeing Rio's dynamic with the other women in the series, with all of his friends' wives. All of the girls from the series, Rio hangs out with them, and they are like his older sisters, and I love that dynamic between them so much, because it makes Rio almost feel more soft. Like yes, like I said, he's this big bad like famous hockey player, but he also just has a level of just like softness and what's the word I'm looking for? Like soft? He's soft, but he's also, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, not intimate, but like he's just so, oh my god, I can't think. Literally, what is the word I'm looking for right now? Soft and precious? No, I don't know. He's wholesome. That's the only way I know how to explain him. Everything truly did come back around. And then once you realized the significance of the title, Rewind It Back, it's like he's just trying to, because music plays a large role in their relationship, and like once you truly realize it, it just, ugh. But just going back and forth between their adult lives and then also them as teenagers, them as kids, you get to see them get together, you get to see them just, it's this pure relationship, and then you get to see them go through heartache, and then you get to see them rekindle and then work through that heartache that was never worked through before. And I just, something about it, I loved this so much. And also it was giving very much Noah Calhoun from The Notebook, because this man literally, so when they were younger, she always told him, because she has a dream of being an interior designer, and so in her adulthood she is an interior designer, and so like they both accomplished their dreams. He's a famous hockey player, she's an interior designer for this good company. But when they were younger, when they were slowly falling in love, she would always tell him that she wanted to design their house when they were older, and she had all these dreams of what their house together was going to look like. And so years later, when they're broken up, he buys himself a house that is the exact house almost that she told him that she wanted. So he literally bought this house with the intentions of having a family in this house and trying to find that person for him, only to realize that the only person that's ever going to be for him is Hallie. And so the house that he bought, he literally bought it for her. And now years later, they are kind of rekindling because somehow she becomes the interior designer for this house. And he kind of tells her, like, I trust you, you design my house however you want to design it. And so she's quite literally designing her dream home for them, and like she doesn't even know it because he bought that house for her. It's giving such Noah Calhoun. Like, it's literally giving The Notebook. But I'm so sad that this series is over, and I have a couple of quotes that this is the longest Goodreads review I have ever left. Like, I love it. But this is the last main book in the series. There is going to be a spin-off, which I'm very excited for, that comes out in March of next year. But basically at the very end, they're all just kind of gathered together, the core people, the core 10, and he goes, we're all just a bunch of transplants from other places who found a home in the Windy City and with each other. I will literally cry. I'm so sad that this series is over, because this is just such a solid sports romance series. Like, this was incredible. This did not disappoint. But one of the other quotes that I have is, being loved by you for the rest of my life is the only dream of mine that's never wavered. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm already exactly where I want to be. I am actually sick. And then in her mind, she's thinking, because like I said, he's one of those side characters in all the other books that he provides comedic relief, and you know, nobody really thinks that he has a lot of depth to him, and so they kind of joke around and like don't truly take his feelings into consideration. And so she's thinking, she's like, I've always had this innate need to protect him. Growing up, he was an easy target because he made himself the butt of the joke most of the time, but I didn't play into that. He could be a joke to everyone else, but he was never a joke to me. I love them so much. They're literally perfect. They are soulmates. I need them. I need to follow them through every single thing in their life. Everything. I know I've been talking about like cute little quotes, but there's also a quote in here, and he's looking at her and he says, I love that dress on you, baby. And she says, thank you, and he goes, take it off. Sure thing. I will get right on that. But yeah, needless to say, this was 5 stars. I loved this so much. Also, I don't own the other books in the series. This is the only one that I own. I don't know why I pre-ordered this. Maybe my subconscious knew that this was going to be my favorite, but now I have to get the rest, of course, because I can't have the last book in the series and not have the rest. But this was 5 stars. This was such a good start to our May anticipated releases. So guess what we finally have? I don't think it's gonna fit up there. I'm gonna have to reevaluate my bookshelves. Boys of Tommen is one of my favorite series of all time. I love the UK covers so much more than the US ones, but It's okay, everything's fine, everything's fine. I literally have my Boys of Tom and sweatshirt on today. I wore it to work, and then I have, and it says Kavanaugh on the back because that's my man. But I have already read about 270-ish pages. I did record updates, so the next few clips will be those updates there, but I'm just recording this now because I'm just now getting the physical book in the mail, and I am so excited. I've just been reading it on my phone. So stay tuned for those updates, and then after those, you will be in present time. You will be caught up, but just know it has been emotional turmoil after turmoil after turmoil. That word is hard to say. We are going to continue. I, so far, am really sympathizing with Lizzie, and I was hoping that that's what this book was going to make me do, is sympathize with her, because I've always sympathized with her, but I've also, like, not really known enough about her story, and so I've mostly just kind of been frustrated with her. So stay tuned for the non-spoiler reading vlog of Releasing 10. I am going to do a spoiler version. If you want to watch that, that will probably be out first, so you can go on and watch that if you haven't. But yeah, I'm so ready. This angle is so bad. I was just too lazy to get the tripod. Please ignore. But the first 100 pages, I genuinely am so sick to my stomach at what's going on. And I think we all knew that Lizzie was going to have a really traumatic backstory, but just to see it and to just witness it at such a young age is just so heart-wrenching. Her sister is a bitch. Kiva is a bitch. Like, I know she's gone through a lot. I get it. But also, she's a fucking bitch. One thing that I do kind of question is in the chapters, like in the beginning chapters, when she's like 3 years old, 5 years old, etc. I just feel like her thoughts are very advanced. And maybe it's just me, but I feel like no 3-year-old would think that way. I don't know. I think I'm just reading too much into it. I mean, this is fiction, so I need to, you know, view it as fiction. But also, no, not a lot of 3-year-olds go through what she's going through at the same time. So it could be like the trauma that's making her be more mature, but also like she's 3, you know? Honestly, Lizzie, she gets overstimulated very easily, and I have never felt so seen by the way that she acts in those moments where she's overstimulated. But I do feel like we're reading a lot of unnecessary information. Like, I'm 250 something pages in, and I feel like I'm reading so much of them as children. Now, I honestly kind of was expecting it because I figured it was going to be like a saving and redeeming six situation. Whereas in this, I feel like it's taking a long time. Now, I know that a lot of, like, Lizzie's story heavily relies on the trauma that happened to her as a kid and as a teenager. While it's important for us to get all of these chapters of her being young, I feel like some of them are a little bit unnecessary. Like, some of them not much is happening, and I feel like that could probably have been condensed down or not even mentioned. We're also getting to see Lizzie and Gipsy's friendship, which I'm really loving, because obviously that's a very different dynamic than what we're used to seeing in the other books, because they hate each other in the other books. But I love seeing Huey as a protective older brother to Claire. I love seeing Joey as a protective older brother, like seeing Joey protect Shannon when they're at their school before she goes to Tommen. I love it. We're also getting a little bit more lore about some other characters, which I love to see because it makes me more excited for future books, because I'm like, Also, the second Johnny comes into play, best believe I will be fangirling. I'm so sorry. I'm on page 254, and I just laughed for the first time in this book. Up until this point, it's been nothing but emotional destruction, and it still very much is emotional destruction, but what Lizzie just said cracked me up. Her dad can actually fuck right off. Tell me you're not fit to be a parent without telling me you're not fit to be a parent. I actually can't. I hate to say it, but I fear I am starting to love Huey, and I'm always going to love you, Lizzie Young, no matter what. I'm gonna cry. Why did that make me cry? I have gone through, I'm on, what page am I on? I'm on page 267. I have gone through emotional, just destruction, and I have not cried yet. Like, I think, because honestly, most of that, as horrible as it is, I was expecting it, and I'm more so enraged than I am upset. But just how gentle Huey is with Lizzie and finally getting to see their relationship is actually, I fear I'm loving them more than I expected I would. And I love that. I love that, because I was so worried that I was going to come out of their books not liking them. Granted, like I said, I am still very much in, like, the beginning chapters. They're not even at Tom in college yet. So, oh my god. The fact that this series is marketed as a YA series is crazy. Like, I will never ever refer to this as a YA series. They're all traumatic, and in no way should they be marketed as YA. I just want to cry. Also, I've realized that I am using Joey Lynch as a coping skill because Joey is my comfort character. He's my comfort character that gets no comfort. Joey and Aelin Galathinius, those are my people. They have gone through so much stuff, but they are my comfort characters. I don't know how to explain it. And so I've noticed that the very few Joey crumbs that we have gotten in this book so far, I'm like latching onto. And I just keep thinking about them. And that's my coping skill. That's how I'm making it through this trauma. Wait a second. Also, they just kissed. Huey and Lizzie just kissed. And they're so cute. I love them. I'm sorry. Something was just said that made me very uncomfortable. Anyway, I'm so confused as to how old they are. Because this is 1999. I don't know. Why is the math not mathing for me right now? Oh my god. Their dad sucks already. Oh my god. I actually can't with this series. Huey, I'm loving his villain era. When I catch you, it's on sight. But I'm just imagining Huey literally being like 12 years old and Huey just like... I just feel like these characters, like I'm automatically aging them up in my head because the way that they're acting is so mature. I'm scared. What the actual... Like, this is actually such a graphic scene out of nowhere. Oh my god. I'm actually just in disbelief at what I just read. I'm not even kidding. Oh my god. What the fuck? I'm actually sick to my stomach. Like, actually sick to my stomach. I typically am able to read things and not be so affected by it to the point where I have to put it down. This has obviously been very difficult to read and it's a very dark and traumatic story, but the specific chapter that I just read, I can feel it right here. I literally feel like I'm gonna be sick. Like I think I'm gonna read a couple more chapters and then I'm gonna shower and take a break from it for a couple of hours, maybe for the rest of the night, because I just genuinely, like, I want to keep going because I want to continue to see what happens, but I like physically don't know if I can because of everything that I'm currently reading. It's the next day and we are continuing and Huey's mom is pissing me off so bad. It makes me want to scream, actually. Everyone in this book, I'm either severely pissed off or severely disgusted. Like, there's quite literally no in between. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just when we thought that we were done with her, here she comes around again. Get this girl out of here. Her parents are shitty, specifically her father. Oh my god. Figured I could show you my Joey and Aoife shirt. Isn't it so cute? I'm wearing all the Boys of Tommen merch in this reading vlog because what better time to wear it. Also, I'm so close to being done and I'm so scared. I'm on page 608. There's 700 and something. So we're in the home stretch. I'm scared. I will fight you. Literally get out of my face right now. Huey, please pummel him into the ground. God, this just keeps getting worse and worse. Oh my god. I can't do this right now. What is going on? Oh my god, this is horrible. This is actually horrible. I need to sit and reflect on what I just read. I want to keep going, but I'm also like, no, I need to put this down and just step away from it. Oh my god. I need someone to sedate me because literally what is going on? It's so hard to not be mad at her, but it's also like you also know that you shouldn't be mad at her because of everything that she has going on. And it's the most conflicting feeling ever. It's just so heartbreaking because I don't know what to do. Send help. Johnny is literally perfect. Johnny is so perfect. He doesn't like drama. He's so level-headed. Johnny's the only person that doesn't fully make me feel like I'm about to have a stroke in this series, genuinely. Reading about Johnny's like coming up for a breath of fresh air. Like, I genuinely can't. I'm sorry, what is with all of these Taylor Swift chapter titles? And why is she attacking me? We're back one final time. I have my Tommen sweatshirt on. I don't want to finish this, but I do at the same time because I can't take it anymore. This is genuinely the saddest, just most heavy book I've ever read in my entire life. But let me just tell you, Lizzie's dad can catch these hands. Imagine how tired we are. This is enraging me. This entire book, I have felt nothing but just anger, disgust, and just true sadness. Like literal devastation is what I have felt. I haven't cried, but I feel like a storm cloud has just been over me this entire time. This has been such a heavy book. Operation Binding 13. Yup. I'm so scared. I am so scared. What the fuck? I'm so scared. I don't want to read this chapter. I really don't. Oh my god, I'm literally gonna cry. Oh my god, I can't even see the words because there are tears in my eyes. Oh my god, I really did not expect myself to cry. I made it through this whole heart-wrenching book without crying, and then we get here. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's crying. I can't believe that's it. I'm like looking in the back to make sure there's no more. There's a literal tear rolling down my face right now. Oh my god. Well, what now? It has been days since I finished this book, and I still have yet to sit down and talk about the way that I feel about it because I truly can't put my thoughts into words. But I feel like it's been enough time. If I haven't figured it out by now, then I don't know what the deal is. I genuinely don't think that I can rate this book. It was dark the entire time going through it, but it got to a point where I truly felt like I just had a storm cloud over me the entire time. I felt like I was in like the depths of despair. I don't think that the topics of this book are even able to have a rating because of how graphic it is and because of how real and raw it is, and it's so disturbing, and you're gonna be distraught the entire time, and you are just gonna be baffled at what you're reading and disgusted, and you're gonna feel all the things. You're gonna be sad, you're gonna be upset. No book has ever made me feel the way that this does. The only way that I have been able to get this feeling, like, I feel like I'm just kind of trapped inside of myself, and the only way that I can get this feeling out is by listening to The Bridge of Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac. That's literally like, that's the feeling that this entire book gave me. And I haven't picked up a book since. I don't know how I'm gonna pick up a book because I just truly feel like this put me into such a bad slump. I've seen a lot of people online talk about, oh, I don't know how this book was published, she doesn't need to write things like this, like, you know, it shouldn't be allowed, whatever. I don't agree with that at all, because I think that what happens in this book is a very real and raw thing, and it's an uncomfortable topic, and we can't shy away from uncomfortable topics. Not everyone is going to be able to read what happens in this book, and that's totally fine. If you can't read it, you need to protect your mental health, you need to protect yourself and your well-being. Do not read it. However, I've seen a lot of people bashing it because of that, and she puts the trigger warnings for a reason, and I truly think that if you continue to read it despite not being able to read it, no one forced you to do that. These are very much real life examples, and she is not in any way trying to romanticize what's happening here, because if you read this, you know Nothing that's happening is being glorified in any way. Everything in this is written to make you feel disgusted. It's written to make you feel like your heart is physically being ripped out of your chest. The trauma that's mentioned in this is not sugar-coated in any way. It is the rawest form possible, and I think that she did that intentionally to, for one, make us understand Lizzie more, but also to understand mental health and these specific traumas more, and to go into these very real topics and to be like, hey, this is the reality of it, and this is what happens in some people's day-to-day lives, unfortunately, and I'm not sugarcoating it, and this is the harsh reality of it. And I think a lot of the reason why a lot of people don't like this book is because of the fact that it's not sugarcoated and it's not romanticizing it, and it's too graphic, it's too real, and people don't want real. But as for Lizzie herself, I went into this kind of feeling indifferent towards her, more so negative than positive, and I never hated her. I never claimed to love her. I was open, I was frustrated with her. I understood she was probably going through a lot, but I was still very frustrated with her and within her actions. I went into this hopeful at the fact that I was gonna get inside of Lizzie's mind and I was gonna understand her more, which is exactly what happened to me. I don't feel indifferent towards her. I feel very empathetic. She has dealt with more trauma than anyone should ever have to deal with in their entire life. And all I see is a strong character who is trying to find her way through the world, and she might not express that in the most positive ways. I think at the end of the day, she's someone who has hurt a lot of people because she's been hurt by a lot of people. And her ways of expressing that is not positive. It's not in any way excusable. She's allowed to lash out every now and then, but to the extent of it, there comes a point where you don't need to take it out on your friends. I don't think that Lizzie's actions in the other books can necessarily be excused, but maybe more so worked through in a way. I think that a lot of conversations, especially between Lizzie and Gypsy, need to be had. But in my opinion, Lizzie Young, everyone failed her. Her parents failed her, her doctors failed her, the justice system failed her, everyone around her failed her, and I think that she is just a wounded animal lashing out, essentially. And honestly, she has the right to do that. She has the right to lash out. Life is not black and white, and in this situation, Lizzie's trauma and the way that she reacts is not black and white. There's no right or wrong to it. And I think the ultimate takeaway from Lizzie's story is that nothing is sugar-coated, and I think that people's feelings towards her are intentional. I think that Chloe Walsh wrote her in this very specific way to make you feel frustrated with her, but to also make you understand her at the same time. I think that that's a very strategic thing that she did, because that's the harsh reality of people who are facing things like Lizzie has faced. Now, as for Huey, I went into this, honestly, could have cared less about Huey when I went into this. This just really made me feel something towards him that I did not expect to have coming out of this book, because he was so strong. He didn't have to deal with anything that he was dealing with. He decided to stay by Lizzie's side, and everything that he decided to put on his shoulders himself, he did that on his own, and he was so strong all throughout. And not even Lizzie either, like Gypsy and just everyone around him, he was taking care of everyone. And he's such big brother energy. He's such just protector energy, and I did not expect to come out of this having that appreciation for Huey, because I had no idea the depth to his character. So needless to say, this is an unrateable book. If I had to rate it, I would rate it 5 stars, simply because of the importance that I think it holds. This is a very traumatic book, but it's also a very important book, because like I said, it touches on topics that are the unfortunate reality that a lot of people face, and it really shows these things happen, and these things are not sugar-coated. This is a very real depiction of uncomfortable things that happen in life. And I think that it's important that we don't shy away from these uncomfortable topics. I think that that's the ultimate takeaway from this, is that it's okay to feel uncomfortable with what you're reading. That's the point. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. I have a hole left in me. And yeah, so thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm not gonna lie, it has been 2 days since I told you that I was gonna start Beautiful Venom. I just have not had it in me to read ever since I finished releasing 10. That took so much out of me. Do I still have my Tom and sweatshirt on? Yes. It's clean though. I washed it. I promise. It's bringing me comfort after the trauma that I just endured. But I did just start Beautiful Venom. I started it probably an hour ago. It is 2:30. I'm gonna try and finish this today. I'm already about 100 pages in. I feel like it's reading very fast, so we've got quite a bit of progress made so far. I didn't realize that it was gonna be like a secret society situation. Like she joined in on this secret society and he's kind of like her, he's like above her, and so I guess he's gonna be the one to like tell her what to do and send her on missions and things. But I will say, in true Rena Kent fashion, within the first 100 pages there was a very how do I word this, a very throw your morals out the window type of smut scene, if you're catching my drift. I can tell that the spice in this is going to be very, very good though. But the reason I picked up the camera is because he just said, go back to school and stop following me. It's giving desperate. And I hate that. I hate that the words it's giving desperate, because it's like, that's real life slang, like Gen Z type slang. I don't know if that's technically considered Gen Z slang, but I hate when slang like that is used in books. It like takes me out of the book so bad, because I'm like, what are we talking about? One thing about me is that me and secondhand embarrassment do not go well together, so oh my god, like sometimes I just have to tell myself it's just words on paper. It's literally not real. Like, take yourself out of it right now. A lot of times when it comes to Rena Kent men for me, I either think they're complete assholes who can't be redeemed, or I'm obsessed with them. And I think that this is going to be a situation where I'm obsessed, because I'm 46% of the way in and I'm loving it. But he actually has a lot of trauma and it's just now touching on that, and I'm like, oh, uh-oh. But also, she used to text him first and just constantly bother him, and he would always get mad and he's like, you need to leave me alone. And now all of a sudden she stopped. And he's upset by it. And he's like, she used to text me first. Like, what's going on? And he's so bothered by it. And I'm obsessed. Also, I love when, in a dark romance, the guy swears off kissing. Like, he hates kissing, never kisses any other women. But then, obviously, they end up kissing. And, oh my god, it's one of my favorite things ever. It's just like a tiny little micro trope that I eat up every single time. I love it so much. Sometimes when I'm reading dark romance, I think to myself, how did I get here? And why do I love this? And I really question myself deep inside. But it's okay, because I'm having a great time. There just really is no other feeling than reading in Enemies to Lovers. Oh, I love it. Because she wants to kiss him and he wants to kiss her too, but you know, he kind of has a rule of not kissing people, and so every time he kisses her, he's like, why did I do that? Like, he's literally fighting himself against his attraction and his pull towards her, because he's telling himself that it's just physical, but everybody knows it's not just physical. She says, kiss me. He says, I hate you. She says, I hate you too, kiss me. I'll fucking ruin you. And then she says, prove it, kiss me. And he cuts her off and kisses her. Ah! I'm done. She's so worried about him because he has such a strained relationship with his father, and his father wants to meet with him, but like the butler won't let her go back there. And she's like, either let me go or you check on him. Don't just stand there and do nothing. Why does no one do anything? Because she knows the abuse that his father puts him through. And oh my god, I fear I am eating this up. I fear all of these anticipated releases this month have been incredible. Incredible. I don't know if Kane's friend Jude is gonna have a book, but if he is, because there's gonna be 3 books in this series, I think, and there's 3 main guys, so that would make sense. But if Jude is gonna have a book, I know I'm gonna eat it up already, because he is psychotic. That's horrible. That's horrible, but I can't help it. I'm just a girl. What can I say? Okay, wait. She just mentioned a man wearing a white mask. I feel like I might be reading too much into this. If anyone has read Legacy of Gods, you know what I'm talking about with White Mask from Legacy of Gods. But the fact that White Mask was such a big deal in Legacy of Gods, and now it's also mentioned in this, which is also a Rena Kent book, I'm like, I could be reading too much into it, but I'm also like, I feel like that's too much of a coincidence. I don't know. I just found out how this is connected to Legacy of Gods. The White Mask thing, I think, honestly, was just a coincidence that I'm reading too much into. but I just found out how this is connected. And honestly, kind of baffled, but I hate his dad so bad. So bad. We're in the third act conflict right now, and I'm honestly living. Like, I hate what's happening, but I'm living for it because I love trauma, so. I'm feeling betrayed. The mystery I guessed in the beginning, but I didn't guess the full extent of it. And now I'm feeling betrayed. I love when I'm reading a new interconnected standalone series and I can start telling who the couples are gonna be. It's my favorite thing ever to pick them out and be like, I'm excited for you. I just know this series is gonna be so good. We have officially finished Beautiful Venom. I sat there quite literally all day reading this book and I don't regret it. I do not regret it. I'm surprised I read it so fast because, I mean, it's a pretty thick book to be like a dark romance book. So I didn't think that I was gonna finish this entire thing today, but honestly, no complaints. So I loved Kane. I loved the guy in this. I loved that they both had a little bit of trauma to kind of relate to in a way. He definitely is not the darkest MMC by any means. I think that his friends, which I'm so excited for the book about Jude, because the main three guys in this, it's Kane, Jude, and then Preston, and Jude is going to be the next book, and I am so excited, especially figuring out who his love interest is. But overall, I thought that this was really solid. I loved that he was a little bit dark, but he honestly probably could have been more dark and I wouldn't have minded it. I think that the majority of his darkness was more so just in like a sexual nature, you know? But I loved that he was literally wrapped around her finger from the beginning. Like, he was so obsessed with her from the beginning, and he was trying to tell himself that he wasn't, so he was trying to fight this pull that he felt towards her. And things like that, tension, yearning, I eat up every single time. It's one of my favorite things ever, so naturally I loved that part. There's just one thing that happened that I really felt like could have been explored more, and it's something that happened and then it was like it went away and it never happened again, and I'm just like, what? And then the actual mystery, you don't really get much information as to, like, a little bit of the mystery is solved but not the full thing, and you'll realize why once you actually read the book itself. And so it's gonna be one of those things where we figure out the mystery in probably the second book, but it's like you go through all of this and you don't even really find out the full extent of what exactly happened. But I do still think that it's worth a read. Like, I gave this 4 stars. I actually really liked this, and I'm surprised at the fact that Kane, I loved him so much. Like, I really, like I said, Rena Kent's men are typically very hit or miss for me, and he was definitely a hit. He was definitely a hit, and I can just tell that this is gonna be such a good series, and I can't wait. And knowing that it's connected to Legacy of Gods, I genuinely feel like the Renaverse is just an ongoing universe that's quite literally never gonna end. And honestly, I have no complaints because it's such a fun time. It's such a fun universe. So yeah, so thank you everyone for watching, and if you have read these, or if you have any anticipated releases for June, if you have any that you read in May, let me know. I did realize that I gave a lot of snippets about Releasing 10 and then even some of Beautiful Venom, but barely any for Rewind It Back, and I'm gonna try and be more consistent when I'm recording these in the future, because I'm planning on doing one for every month, like read my anticipated releases for me of blah 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 month. So I'm gonna try and actually record as I go, but some of them, it's just like when you're reading you just don't really think much about it, I guess. And Rewind It Back, I was just so enthralled in the story that I like didn't think about picking up a camera. But the other ones, just looking at Releasing 10, like Releasing 10, I had to pick up the camera. I had to. So